Hi everyone, and thank you very much for watching. Liam Hartree here today, another episode of Presenting Champions for the Simply Inspired podcast. And we're back with a very special guest, Rob Cunningham, Big Rob today, professional bare knuckle fighter who's obviously competed for BKB competed for BKFC, and most recently competed for Gromda as well over in Poland. We did an interview maybe a year ago. I was just marveling with Rob at how quick the time has gone. And so today we're doing an update on everything he's been doing over the past 12 months with bare knuckle boxing, really on the up and up. His career is going from strength to strength, and the best is yet to come. So we'll be talking about the future as well. So, Champ, thank you for coming back on the show, man. Awesome to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries at all. Like I was saying, just now before we started recording, you've been doing some amazing things. You've been on the up and up with bare knuckle boxing. You really seem to have found your your sport, your niche, where you belong in
Yeah.
the world and all that type of thing. So starting at the beginning, well, saying that it's not really the beginning, but starting with the most recent fight that you've had, obviously with Gromda, repping the brand there as well. I love it. Let's talk us through that from, let's start with before the fight, when you first got the call or the message to compete, or however it came about. How did it actually come about for anyone who doesn't know?
So basically, I signed with the BKFC last year. I fought for them last August, and then Andrew Bakewell, who runs BKFC UK, actually went over to a Gromda show. I think it was around Septemberish. Remember the date right? So I had a watch of it then. I was having a look to see what it's all about, and it's a little bit different in regards to bare knuckle boxing than anyone else. It's sort of a bit of a different rule set and stuff, which I'll get into in a sec. So I had a little watch of the show, and I was like, yeah, this looks really good. It's the production's really good, and the fighters out there look really good. So it was just I was watching it. I spoke to Andrew Bakewell about it, asked him how it was, and he said it was brilliantly run. It was just like a crazy time out there when he was there. So and I knew a couple of lads that went actually out there to fight as well for him. Never really thought much else for it, as I was signed to BKFC. So I was just interested in having a look, and thought maybe one day I'll go over and test myself over there. But I had a fight collapse in Newcastle last year. I was a bit of a late standing myself. I think I took the original fight on 4 weeks, 3 weeks notice. A lad lost his opponent, so I said, "Yeah, I'll come up and fight." Then he pulled out of the fight himself. The lad I stepped in for, and I had numerous different opponents. I think it was 4 or 5 within 10 days of the fight. The last lad I was meant to fight unfortunately fell ill and pulled out on the weigh-in day, so I was left with no fight in Newcastle. So I was sort of desperate to get myself active with bare knuckle, as I'm really new to it. I competed, like you said, for BKB a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now. I think about 3 years ago, and I was very raw. I'd never boxed. It was just my background's mixed martial arts, but I've always fancied having a go with the bare knuckle. I don't think there's anything like it in the world in regards to it's raw. It's basically it's pure fighting. So I always fancied to go, but then sort of last year I started boxing. I started learning how to box, and it's a completely different skill set to anything I've done. It's not like MMA striking. It's not like anything I've done before. So then, yeah, so signing with BKFC, this was the path I wanted to go down with the bare knuckle. I felt it was my niche. So I'm then looking for a sort of fight at the beginning of the year, and BKFC didn't have anything for me on the London show that they've just done. So I got a message off Gromda. I'd spoke to him a little bit on and off myself, just saying I enjoyed the show and stuff like that, and maybe in the future I can come out and fight for him. I got a message asking if I wanted to come over. So I spoke with my manager and I spoke with Andrew Bakewell to see if it was okay, because I'm obviously signed with BKFC, and they agreed for me to do it. They said, yeah, we want you to be active, get over there and get some more experience. So that's how it come about. And then it was like, yeah, I'm going over to Poland to test myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a wild ride about how it got to actually happen in the first place, but very, very cool. And like I said to you at the beginning, obviously we're starting with the most recent one, and we'll talk about BKFC as well, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about everything. But just because this one just happened, I think it's so cool for people to hear about it. So yeah, I mean, your experience in Poland it's a big question, but with this we can obviously get into like what your experience in the country was like, the welcome that you received and everything, and also the fight itself. So we'll get into all of that. But before we do, Gromda, yeah, the rule set, it is quite different to well, to anything else. I mean, the size of the ring, the round layout and everything that they do there, and probably some other things as well. So most people will know watching this, but for anyone who doesn't know, can you just enlighten us on how they do things basically in that way?
So yeah, you're right. The ring's smaller. I think it's a 16-foot ring, if I remember rightly, but it's a lot smaller than a normal size sort of boxing ring, or with obviously with the BKFC with the circular ring, the BKFC. The rounds themselves. So you do 4 2-minute rounds, and then if you get to round 5, there's no time limit. And how that works, you can't win via points over there. You have to win via stoppage, or your opponent not being able to carry on. So yeah, it's quite a unique yet brutal way of doing the sport. But it's very popular over there. I mean, their following's massive. They're attracting some really good fighters on the show now as well. The lads that actually fight on that show are a different breed of fighter. They're so good. I think a lot of them would do extremely well over on the big promotions in America and stuff, in the UK. I think they're just they're wired different. So, and I ended up fighting one of their best guys, Capo. But you don't find out you're fighting either till the night before. They do sort of like a live draw, and it's only heavyweights. So I think the minimum weight you can be is, I think they let you drop a little bit if you agree to it at 88 kilo. But other than that, I think it's got to be heavyweight up, and there's no cap. So yeah, and they do a tournament format as well, which basically means you have a maximum of 3 fights on one night. Same rule set, but you could be fighting 3 times. So I mean, 3 of your fights can go into that 5th round. You could be fighting for a long time. But mine was just a one-off fight. What we did this time, they matched Poland versus Europe. So I think there was, if I remember rightly, I think there was 9 of us that come over from different European countries. There was 3 from the UK. There was a lad from Ireland, Belfast and Northern Ireland. Then there was fighters from Denmark, Switzerland, Germany, and we did sort of that basis. So they did Poland versus Europe, and I think if I'm right, I'm not exactly sure on this, but I think only 2 of the European lads won. So that's how good they are. And some of these European lads were going in with much higher records than I had. So it just shows the level they're at over there.
Yeah. They are different breed, man. I mean, I've seen that. I'm obviously watching the show. But I also say, like in Poland and in broadly speaking, Eastern Europe and things, they have a different mindset to it. I mean, like I've had people on here with, King of the Streets and some of the no rules stuff. I've had people on here with obviously bare knuckle boxing, like with Gromda before as well, all different types of things. And they just got a crazy mentality to it. But it's testament to you, going over there to test yourself, different format, different rules, European fighters. It takes brass balls to do it, man. I mean, there's no 2 ways about it.
That's why I did it. Like literally, I like I said, I'm really raw in bare knuckle. Like I'm new to it. I'm trying to build up as much experience as I can fighting the best guys available. So I just thought, yeah, Joe, what? I don't know anyone else from where I am that's doing stuff like that. So I'm just going out there. I'm just throwing my name in the hat. testing myself, pushing myself, seeing what I'm capable of, and seeing what sort of next steps I need to take to elevate my skill set and in the sport and get better. So I was doing it for a personal thing. I wasn't even. I've been really down. Like after that South Africa fight, I went into a bad place over that. But after this one, I was a little bit annoyed and upset with how it went. The guy stopped me. It was a cut, but he was better than me. Like it's one of them. He was just good. He bombarded me with strikes, and I took a knee, and it's healed quite well, to be honest. It only looks small now, but it poured blood into my eye, and I couldn't see for about 30 minutes after it. I was literally, I thought I'd lost vision in my left eye, but it was just the blood flowing in and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to build experience, going out, put my name out there, getting involved, and just throw my name in the hat with these killers, just to give myself an understanding of where I'm at with things, and then move on to the next one and progress with it.
Absolutely, yeah. What I'll say about that, I mean, you are progressing massively because, first of all, like I said to you before we started recording, right? On a personal level, I mean, I'm over the moon for you, seeing you be happy, healthy, finding your niche, really enjoying what you're doing, and obviously, because when we last spoke around that South African MMA fight, I mean, it was a downer, but now you're on the up, and it's amazing, and you have improved a lot since those early bare knuckle fights like the Cal Hobley and Podmore and all that. You've improved since those with BKB. So
even with them, like them fights, I'm fighting two of the best lads in that organization. I mean, Podmore's won multiple titles. He's one of the best fighters in the country. Carl Hobley as well. He's won cruiserweight and British titles. Do you know what I mean? They're both top lads. So I sort of threw myself in at the deep end with them as well, and that's what I'll continue to do. After, like I said, after South Africa, I put the thing with me. I put a lot of pressure on myself in the past with mixed martial arts. I trained it for so long, and I got offered a contract to fight on EFC, which was one of the biggest organizations in the world. And I think because I put so much pressure on myself, I thought it's now or never. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I've got to win. I was beat before I got in the cage. I was mentally beat. I was absolutely shitting myself backstage, and I know everyone gets nerves. Don't get me wrong, but I was just, the amount of self-doubt I had within myself was next level. I was gone. Like, before I even stepped in that cage, the fight was over. I just didn't want to tell myself that. Probably before I even flew out there, it was just I was beating myself. So yeah, I come home and I went into a bad place over it. I was upset. I was crying every night. I was literally quitting the sport. I was done. I thought, I'm not going to fight anymore. I was worried about what everyone would say about me and opinions of people, all that kind of stuff. And then I got offered the opportunity with BKFC. I thought, I'm going to pick myself up. It come out of nowhere. I'd known Andrew Bakewell for a while. It come out of nowhere, and he said, I've got a fight here if you want it, in London. And I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. And then I had a little think about it. I was like, yeah, you know what, let's just give it a go. It's bare knuckle. I enjoy bare knuckle a lot. And then I sort of picked myself up. I started working with a mindset coach called Rob Holdsworth. He's done wonders for me. Sessions every week with him. I started doing strength and conditioning for the first time in my life, lifting weights. I'm in with a really good gym. Tried at mixed martial arts. I've been with them for a couple of years now as well. And the coaches there, Harry, Steve, Tim, Nathan, Graham, my boxing coach there, who's been coming around all these mad different places with me. And then obviously my missus supports me through everything. So I'm in a good place with it now. Like, I think I don't care what anyone thinks about me doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this is what I want to do, and I'm enjoying it. And as you can see, I'm in a happy frame of mind, even with the result. If people think they can do it, go and fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you think you can do better, go and have a go. I don't know anyone else that's flying to Poland to fucking, mind my language, fight these killers over there, and then I don't know anyone else that went and walked out first at Wembley Arena and won. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing things people don't do where I'm from, so I'm going to continue doing it. I'm going to continue pushing myself and trying to make something of myself within the sport. That's what it's about for me. I just want to see what my potential is. That's my goal. I want to see where my potential can take me. I'm training with Tyson Fury's cousin now, Ricky Gorman. So I'm doing a lot of sparring rounds with him, and he's helped me so much. Learning how to box, and obviously his family's from the highest pedigree of bare knuckle fighters that's ever been. So, and the Diva boxing gym that I'm training in as well with Oggy, Coach Oggy, and like I said, Coach G, my boxing coach from Trident. I've got really good people around me, and I'm just excited. That's the best way to describe it. Excited to see where we can go with it and what we can do.
Absolutely. I mean, the sky's the limit at this stage, man. That's the main thing. I mean, you can go a long way with this. As you mentioned, what you've already done. I mean, it's incredible. It's unique. It takes a lot of heart, a lot of courage, and a lot of discipline to improve yourself. Yeah, I mean, the mindset coaching, that's a big one. I mean, I always say that combat, it's got a massive mental aspect as well as a physical aspect. And even when you see people come together at weigh-ins and things like that, you can often tell who's going to win, with not total accuracy, but pretty good accuracy, 8, 9 times out of 10, because you can tell who's got like the willpower, the confidence, and obviously, even though it's a physical thing, you can tell that. So the fact you're working on that, it's amazing. Let's give a quick mention to the BKFC fight itself and your win there before we obviously move on to the future and everything, because amazing win, amazing promotion, part of history as well, obviously with them coming to the UK and sort of just starting out at that point with the UK shows, proving the haters wrong as well. I mean, because you've got a massive win there, what you just said about, I know you're doing it for you, but nonetheless, coming up, like bouncing back from that loss and demolishing him. So there's a lot of different things to talk about. So let's just hear about the fight in your own words, man. What you remember most about the fight itself, how you were feeling afterwards, reflecting on it now. I know it's a big question. There's a lot there, but just the story of it really would be super cool.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people were tipping Brett May to beat me, especially himself. He was solo all over YouTube and stuff like that. And yeah, it was something that I was never more focused for in my life. When I walked out, I can't explain it. Like the fact that they come over, it was that massive show at the Wembley Arena. I think there was 7,000 people there, 6,500 people or something. So there wasn't quite that many when I walked out, because I was literally the first fighter to walk out as well, which was pretty cool. So being part of history, the first one out at Wembley Arena, first UK show for them, fighting on the same card as Michael Venom Page and Mike Perry, and a whole talent of different fighters on that card as well was just amazing. And to get the win the way I did, I think the lad, I thought he'd give up. He didn't want to be in there after the second round. So I was a bit annoyed because I felt like a stoppage was coming. He kept hugging and holding me, which was frustrating. And I think that was due to his own fitness levels and stuff. But I was super, super happy to get the win with it. I had some kind words, very kind words, said about me by David Feldman, the president, as well, on a podcast, which made me feel really good about what I did. And the support I had after it was unbelievable. And my friends and family and that, I was just made up, mate. It was the best feeling in fighting I've ever had. And yeah, I'm just glad to have got on the journey with them and found my sport. Like you said before, I think I've really found my niche. I thought my career was going to follow the path of MMA, but I've realised that the bare knuckles probably definitely is the way I'm going to go with things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've really found like your place in the world, a place where you belong and everything, and obviously, I mean, I wouldn't say that about everybody, even people who are doing bare knuckle. I mean, there's some people who are really into it. There's some people who move around different things or whatever. But for you, I really just get that feeling that you found like your happy place, your special place to compete. We'll come to the future now in a moment, but before we do, a couple of things to touch on, like where I want to go back to the mindset coaching as well. Now, obviously, with this, I don't want to share like anything that people can use, like any tips he shared with you that then people could use against you in a fight. So just precursoring it with that. But in terms of some of the ways he's helped you and everything, I mean, I definitely think that mindset is overlooked. I mean, there's no two ways about it. I think it's overlooked. I think a lot of people go in physically prepared, not mentally prepared, a lot of the time. And it is, it is a mental thing as well. So just anything you'd like to share about working with him and how that's been going for you, really, because it's obviously made a massive difference.
Yeah, it has. So, like I said, after South Africa, I was at probably the lowest point I've been in a long, long time. I was moping around. I was upset. Not a lot of people saw it except my missus. I hid it quite well from family and friends and training partners. I was obviously still having to go to work and stuff. But when I was back in the house, it was. I don't like using the word depressed too often because it's a word that gets thrown around and labelled on quite a lot of things. But at that point, I do believe that I was heavily depressed because of sort of the characteristics I was showing and the behaviour I was showing and stuff. I was crying and I was very snappy and I was negative about everything. I was doubting everything and just in a really bad place with stuff. I was never on the verge of sort of in the worst scenario where I didn't want to be alive or anything like that. But I was at the point where I didn't give a shit about anything. I just wanted to lay in bed all day, even though I couldn't. I was still dragging myself to the gym. I was still dragging myself to work. I just wanted to be locked away from everyone, and not speak to anyone, which was not a nice. I don't like thinking about it, but it just wasn't a nice time. And something people might think, oh, it's the fight, get a grip, but it was that important to me that it broke me down that much, and I think it was building up for a while, and that sort of was the tip of the iceberg that just sort of crashed. So I'd spoken to Rob Holdsworth, it might have been 12 months before. I just come across him on Instagram. I just had a chat with him. He was a little bit out of my price range for what I could afford. I only work sort of a normal job on minimum wage. I'm a support worker, so I look after a young man with autism and learning difficulties. So all the money just goes on training and paying the bills and having a little bit spare for me and my missus every month. But yeah, I spoke to him. I did a session with him. The first session was free, and I just said, "Listen, I really want to do this with you, but it's just well out of my price range. I'm not going to waste your time because it's not fair on you." Anyway, about a week or so, well, it might have been a little bit longer, maybe 4 weeks or so, he come back to me and he said, "Listen, I'm going to offer this to you for free. I'm going to do it as a sponsorship for you. So there's no cost at all." And I was like, wow, that means the absolute world to me. I didn't know what to say. I was taken back by it because I'd never asked him for it. I was just told him basically it was out of my price range. So then, yeah, I got to work with him and he sort of unlocked my mindset. It took a little while to get me out of where I was. But he just brought me back into a happier place. And the main thing was to stop doubting myself and start believing in myself. Stop caring about opinions of people that you wouldn't go to advice for. That was one of the main things. I wouldn't ask these people for advice, so why should I take their criticism? And he just sort of, every week we did a session via Zoom. We had a chat. We did hypnotherapy. And he just brought me slowly back to me, is the best way to describe it. And then he's elevated it. So it's done me wonders. I can't like put it into words how much it's helped me. But along with Rob, I've got such a great team of, like I mentioned, my coaches and stuff, and fantastic sponsors around me as well that have just helped me so much. Crozier Building, Wayne Crozier, a gentleman from Cumbria, followed me on Instagram. He's a builder, and he's just supported me so much. He come all the way down to London to watch me fight, and he supported me so much with my fighting. Good to Go Recovery, a drinks company, provide me with sort of electrolyte drinks for recovery after training. They literally drop me off packages whenever I want. Who else have I got? I've got iCoach, who's actually my boxing coach. He trains me for free, does pad sessions for free. Graham, who I can't thank enough. Like I said, he goes around the world with me to all these different shows and that out of his own time, and he works as self-employed, so he's losing money when he comes with me. Chris Redmond, my strength and conditioning coach, literally is changing me as an athlete. He's done that off his own back for free of charge as well. He's got me understanding how to lift weights and condition myself better, and my fitness level's never been as good. I don't want to miss anyone out. Yeah, I know you're probably going to ask me about sponsors later on. I've gone off track a bit, but
well, good man. It's good to be. I mean, yeah. Oftentimes, I'll actually close out with that, like with who would you like? But getting them in now, getting them in now is cool, man. I don't mind that at all, because you know what? Yeah, they're obviously the people who are making it possible for you as well, in one way or another, contributing, helping, and they deserve a shout out, because obviously you know who they are, they know who you are. You know, you're all in life together. But from like people from the outside looking in, they're effectively behind the scenes, if you get what I mean, because people don't always see this. I mean, I know you give people a good mention, so don't worry about it, man. I'm well happy that you're giving them a quick shout out, to be honest, you know.
But yeah, going back to the mindset stuff, yeah. So yeah, we've got in a good place now, and I think that's a big part of why I'm not so upset or down as I normally would be after the result that's just happened on Gromda. I'm not naive. I can accept. I said to my missus before I went, it's going to take a better man to beat me now. Before, I was beating myself, and that's why I used to beat myself up so much. I'm not saying that the guys I fought wouldn't have beat me, because I've fought some top level in the amateur MMA. I fought some of the best guys in the UK. That I fought now on Bellator and Cage Warriors, I believe, and stuff like that. So I'm not saying them guys wouldn't have beat me. What I am saying is I now know if someone beats me, it's because I'm not beating myself, and that's what Rob's sort of transformed within me. I've still got a lot of work to do with him. I'm not the finished article, and far from it. There's some other stuff in the background that I'm working on. I believe I've got sort of I'm going to go through assessments for ADHD and autism as well, because I'm showing quite a lot of signs with that, different sort of characteristics and that. So I'm going to go through some assessments for that, because I think that's a little bit why my head's all over the place non-stop all the time, because I don't switch off at all, and so that's another aspect to it. But going back to the mindset stuff, it's transformed everything for me over the last 12 months, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. I mean, obviously you're working on improving the inside and the outside of yourself, if you like. Obviously your body's getting fitter and stronger, and everything you mentioned there. But the mind is sort of catching up to an equal footing as well, and it's a beautiful thing. It's quite a brave thing to do, you know. By the way, that's the only other thing. I've done a lot of this type of stuff myself as well. You know, everything that you mentioned there, and I've seen the effects. But it is quite a brave thing to do, to face up to some of these things about yourself that you may not, not you personally, but anybody, me, you know, anyone who does it may not like about yourself, and having to sort of face those and work through them. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But I'm just saying, from my respect to you, it's actually quite a brave thing to go sort of within yourself and you know, look into some of those things, if you get what I mean. So yeah. That's
The way I've started looking at things is like this is like now a journey of self-improvement for myself. I just want to be the best version of me I can be, And I don't just mean that on a fighting aspect. I mean that as a person. So fighting is what I love to do, and bare knuckle fighting is what I love to do. So if I can sort of bring myself to be the best version of myself as a fighter, I feel like I'll become the best version of myself as a person alongside it, because I'm just trying to, as mad as I say, I'm just trying to figure myself out, and fighting helps me do that. And it's like I feel lucky and blessed to be able to travel to all these places and compete against these top guys. And like I said, I don't know anyone else that does it. And I feel lucky that I can do it. And I'm trying to put this into words. Like we're not, like I always think we're not here forever. So it's like you just got to do what you enjoy to do. Nothing else matters except like your own sort of self happiness. And if you enjoy something, like my view on it now is to go out there and do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter about anything else. Just do what you enjoy to do. Otherwise, you're going to get to 50, 60, 70 years old, and you're going to be like, why did I not just do it? Why didn't I have a go at it while I had the chance? And it's about sort of like living with no regrets on stuff, and just trying to reach your own potential and being happy. That's the main thing. It's like finding happiness in what you're doing and finding happiness and peace within yourself. And that's what I think is the most important thing now.
Absolutely.
I'm getting a bit deep with it, sorry, man.
No, I love it. Well, I love the deep stuff anyway. I mean, you've seen like a lot of the motivational stuff I do and different things, and
Yeah,
even
man.
with these podcasts, we often do end up going deep with people because it's something, as I've mentioned before, I don't feel it's talked about enough. I don't feel it's touched on enough, and there's a few different things. First of all, I'm super happy for you, man. I'm over the moon for you, that you're in such a good place and you're enjoying the journey. And like I said, from the last time we met as well, you do seem a lot happier. You seem like almost like a weight's lifted off you, and it's just I'm happy for you with that, finding your niche with bare knuckle as well. But also, as I always say with these podcasts, what you're doing here is you're showing what can be done with this journey, and it shows other people they can do it as well. Because I'm very big on that. I mean, when people are going through these things, there's a real sort of isolationism about the mind, and I'm not talking about any mental health label or anything like that, but just when people are struggling, they think no one will understand this. I'm the only one who's going through this. All these sorts of negative things, and the fact that you're putting out there how you've taken steps to sort of work through some of these processes, it shows other people they can as well, and it's super inspiring. Whether you realize that or not, I don't know, but it is, and I'm happy you're sharing it. To be honest. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm still like a very much, like I said, a very much work in progress with it. Like there'll be moments throughout the day when I have to just sit down and take 10 minutes because I can't sort of control my thought process, and I get really like within myself and overthink things. And like my mood will fluctuate up and down so much. It's crazy. Like I can be somewhere like in work. 1 minute I'm dead happy, 1 minute, and then within the space of 30 seconds I'm angry. Then I'll be upset. Then I'll be really overly happy again. And but again, that's why I'm going to go through these sort of assessments to sort of see what that is. But yeah, it's like I'm starting to understand it a little bit better and understand myself a little bit better, and all them bad like times that I was sort of sat through and stuff last year and whatever. Like I understand it more doing the mindset training and just starting to enjoy what I'm doing instead of putting so much pressure on it. It's like I don't need to put pressure on it. It's like there's enough pressure in fighting as it is, and I was like escalating it and like almost like giving myself a death sentence before I even started a training camp. So I'm I'm at more at ease with it. I'm still trying to figure stuff out with my own head and where I'm at with stuff like that. But on a fighting basis, I'm much more leveled out with it, and I'm more comfortable and I'm happy with it. That's the best word. Yeah, happy.
yeah.
And if people can see the like someone like me can do it, then anyone can do it, because I shouldn't be a fighter. I was never brought up to be a fighter. I'm from a little island in Scotland, and um, we said last time, there's like a population of 300 people. There was 3 people in my year in school. I'm I'm like from the middle of absolute nowhere, and if I can go on and do what I'm doing, then anyone can, especially with sort of the way my head's been and stuff. There's ways people can do things, and if what I've done gives people a little of example, a little bit of motivation to do it, then yeah, that's spot on. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it does inspire people, it does motivate people, and it's an amazing journey that you're on. Obviously, we've touched on BKFC, we've touched on Gromda and BKB and some of the MMA, and we've been moving around. So obviously, I'm well happy with the fight content, but I'm well happy with the motivational content of this as well, the inspiration, the hope, whatever you want to call it, man. I'm over the moon with that. So really, the final phase of this is just to talk about where you want to go from here. Obviously, you're not long off the Gromda fight at the time of this interview, but nonetheless, I'm sure you'll be looking for like who to fight next and what the next steps are. So just share with us your dreams and goals for the future. I don't mind what timeline we give this, if we go forward like till the end of the year or something, or if you just go 1 or 2 fights ahead or whatever, or however long or little you want to go, but just what's lighting your fire and where you want to go from here, really.
I've got a path. I've got a pathway in my head. I'm sure a lot of people do where they want to go and where they want to achieve. My immediate future, I've got a fight on the 22nd of April with BKFC. I'm just waiting for the confirmation to come through on it. So that was already agreed prior to going out for Gromda. So I knew that was coming. So luckily the cut has closed well, and it's not too bad. So I'm happy with that. I can probably start sparring again in a week, which is good. But in regards to future, my future's in bare knuckle. I'm never going to close the door on mixed martial arts. I'm never saying I'm not going to get in the cage again. I might do, I might not. It's one of them things. But I love fighting bare knuckle. I love fighting for the BKFC. I really loved my time going out with Gromda in Poland as well. So who knows, I might end up out there one day again. But my priority is BKFC. I'm very, very privileged to be signed with them. So I'm very grateful to Andy Bakewell for making that happen, and Nate Shuck, the matchmaker, obviously, and David Feldman. Andrew Bakewell, I've got to say a huge thank you to for getting me on board. He's the reason I'm with the BKFC. He got me involved. He's the promoter from the UK, so I'm so happy that he got in touch and got me on. I've got a very good relationship with him as well. And I've also got one of the top managers in bare knuckle, in Kevin Smith. He works for Smith Brothers. So I'm working with a really good team. He's affiliated with Jackson Wink MMA now as well. So I've got a good team, and I've already mentioned my gym and training partners as well. But yeah, future with BKFC, absolutely. Get this fight in April 1. I feel I've got a good solid opponent. I can't say who yet until it's announced. And then I'd like probably another couple of fights at the end of the year. I'm not going to fight over the summer unless something really interesting comes up. But I'm going to keep my summer free just to work on myself and train. And then I'll probably look to get back in around September, October, I imagine, and then maybe one more before Christmas. Long term, I want to win a world title with them. I'm young. I'm 33. Most of the champions in the sport are late 30s, early 40s. So I've got a long time. I'm very, very young for a bare knuckle fighter. I'm young for the heavyweight anyway. But and because I haven't got the mileage a lot of these guys have got, a lot of the guys that are coming in, I've got huge backgrounds in MMA or boxing or stuff like that. They've got a lot of rounds on their head, a lot of mileage on their body. I didn't, like we spoke before, I didn't start training until I was 26. So I'm fresh. I've got a lot in me. I can go for a long time, and I'm only going to get better. I'm basically I'm like a puppy in the sport. I'm brand new to it, but I'm going to make moves in this sport. I know it. I've got it in me. I took things away from that fight in Gromda. That most things are there. I need to work a little bit better on my defense. I need to trigger that kill switch quicker because you can't be patient in bare knuckle. You've got to go. So that's two major things I'm gonna work on. I need to be a little bit more aggressive in there, which is what I'm gonna work on for the next one too. So long term goal, like I said, I want a title eventually. I want to get up them ranks, and I want to go and fight in the States. I want to fight all over the world like I've been already, and I want to enjoy it. And I think it's going to be a wild ride with them. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Absolutely, and so you should be. The future is very, very bright for you, man. 100%, I believe that because of so many different things. I mean, you're improving every fight. You're working on yourself physically, mentally. You're taking risks in like going over with Gromda and everything, and like calculated risks that because that still pays off. Even though it wasn't like the result, like the experience you would have got there.
Absolutely.
But you would.
Yeah, it was a mad experience. I've never seen anything like it. We were driven 2 hours away from civilization. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was freezing cold. I thought my breath was going to freeze as it come out of my mouth. It was that cold. There wasn't a lot of English speakers there. It was just mad. It was just a crazy time, but I've taken a lot from it. My opponent as well was very respectful. I've made some really good friends out of it as well, which is a good thing. I've met some really top guys, some crazy guys. Like you wouldn't believe. There's a couple of guys that have been on that King of the Streets and stuff that are just absolutely nuts. But yeah, I've took good stuff away from it that I can build on definitely, regardless of the result. I've took that on the chin. The better man won on the night, like I said, and I'm just going to build on it, mate.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. The future's bright. And hey, you know what I always say? A few more fights down the line, we'll do another one of these.
Yeah,
Um,
man, definitely.
keep people updated because I just want to say to you, anytime you want to come on the show, like you're always welcome, and I always love our chats. I know we catch up from time to time anyway on Messenger or whatever, but if you ever
Yeah,
want
bro.
to proper chat like this, you're always welcome on the show. And there's a few people I say that to, I don't say it to everybody. But I'll say that to you of like maybe we've done this one now, maybe after the April fight, or then one
Yeah.
more, like a couple or whatever, around that sort of time we can we'll catch up again. But for now, I'm excited to see where everything goes for you. Well happy for how well you're doing in the sport, and yeah, the sky's the limit there. The future is very, very bright. I'm gonna have to hop off shortly because time has flown by.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank you for being an open book about a few things in this that are quite, being quite personal about like the mindset and everything, as well as the fighting. All the respect in the world for you, brother, and keep doing what you're doing. You're doing absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate it. See where it goes. It's gonna be good though. Whatever happens, it's gonna be good.
Absolutely, yeah. You're living a dream, man. I mean, like you say, people from a lot of places, they never get the chance to do any of this. So everything's amazing with what you're doing, and yeah, the sky's the limit. So the score when this is ready, I'll send it to you. We can release it. I'll release it. You can release it as well. We'll get it out there to the world, and just show people a little bit more about the journey that you've been on since we last spoken. We'll just go from there, man. I'll be cheering for you in the next fight as well. 100% in April. We thank the sponsors and everything, so I think that's pretty much everything. So just thank you for your time, man. It's been good to have a catch up.
Yeah, I think I remembered all of them. Good to go. Crozier, iCoach, Chris Redmond, Flow, which is a new one that I've got on board. They're doing my fight kit and that. I hate this because I always forget someone. Trying to think of my walkout top with all the logos on. Good to go. I think that's pretty much it. And then yeah, like my gyms, Trident Mixed Martial Arts, Steve Boxing, so all the coaches at each one, Harry McKnight, Tim Barnett, Steve Charmley, Nathan Dunn, and obviously Graham, my boxing coach, and then Oggy, my other boxing coach, Ricky Gorman for my sparring, and Big Matt, two great heavyweight boxers in their own sense. Ricky's going to go on and do some really good things in the heavyweight division. Watch out for him. He's actually headlining a show on the 18th of March in the Liverpool Olympia, second pro fight. he's going to go really far. He's seriously, I can't explain how good that guy is. And then obviously I'd my friends, my family, my missus, who's an absolute star with everything. She's been there through the dark days that I had and helped pick me up. My mindset coach therapy with Rob, everyone that helps me, basically. Thank you for having me on, Liam, of course, mate. And I really appreciate your time and chatting. Andrew Bakewell with the BKFC, getting me involved. Gromda for having me on. And everyone else that doesn't think I'm going to do it, thanks for watching as well, because I'm going to do good things with this.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been proven the support is right and the hate is wrong. You know, it's a good thing. Thank you so much for your time, brother. You know, it really has been a pleasure, just on a personal level, to catch up with you. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.